Yeah, it's a very, very good point. Now, Nicole, this new form of polling, which doesn't necessarily say how would you vote at the next election, instead it sort of tries to get inside the head of people about has your attitude changed on the government, is there a sense of buyer's remorse, where is it going? It claims that about 27% of Labor voters who voted for them at the last election wouldn't vote at the next. Now, that vote has been replaced by some others, so essentially the primary is just a little lower than where it was now, but that's a big churn in a first-term government. Obviously, as a person who would like to see some of that to be true, for you to be returned to the Parliament, but more importantly, a bad government to get rolled over. Do you get any sense of that? Not necessarily buyer's remorse, but they've had their chance, and we don't care if it's 3 years. There is a percentage of people that are willing to go back.
Look, Paul, as we always say, the only poll that actually matters is the one on election day, whenever that may be. Let's assume March 2025. But what is not changing is that Labor's primary vote is disastrously bad. So I think the key message here, regardless of how the numbers might move around from poll to poll, is that a vote for the Greens is a vote for Labor, and really sort of vice versa. So I really encourage viewers, if they have any family members, because I know none of our viewers would ever flirt with voting Labor, let alone the Greens. But if they have family members who might be thinking about that...
There's a few who hate watch. It all counts in the ratings, I don't care.
But sure. Okay. Well, but I'm sure that's probably a small number. They're just keeping an eye on what they think we're up to. The critical thing when it comes to Labor's vote being so disastrously low, and the fact that they keep falling over the line and forming government, and we just saw it here in South Australia with the Dunstan by-election, is that a vote for the Greens is a vote for Labor. So people need to be very careful about where they're, not our wonderful viewers, but friends and family who might be flirting with doing that, are putting their vote, and please persuade them not to.
Kristy, do you get a sense that the people who have tuned out of the government are being replaced by people that are impressed by the government, or they're people that are just moving into the great pile of undecided? Because if they're undecided, then they're up for grabs. We've seen statistically how One Nation has been improving on plenty of national polls, so it's not that it's all about teal voting here.
No, it's not. It's certainly a drift to minor parties, and a huge load of minor parties as well. What's interesting here is that this is a huge sample. It's a poll of 2,000 people. Now, if we compare that to a Newspoll's 1,500. So if the Newspoll's the gold standard, this is even bigger. 27% of people have decided to change their vote against the government. However, 8% of those are going coalition and 8% to the Greens. And herein lies the rub. The government is desperate to avoid minority government. Now, with 8% of those voters going across to the Greens, we're about to see a fracturing of the Labor Greens preferences, particularly here in Melbourne. Seats like McNamara are almost 29% Green, 29% Labor, and the Liberals polled 29% too. It's only Greens' preferences that helped Labor win that seat. And there's a couple of others, seats like Wills here in Melbourne as well, where the minor party vote polls about 7-8%. That's two socialist parties, United Australia, Animal Justice, a whole range of them. So people moving away from the government isn't necessarily going to benefit the coalition. But it is going to see this fracturing of Labor and the Greens. Those Labor seats are up for grabs, and the Greens have them in their sights.